Okay, back to where we were. That jingled and jangled. She spoke in a loud voice. Oh yeah, just so you guys remember, this is the world according to Humphrey. And let me get back to the page. Sorry. She spoke in a loud voice and waved her arms and walked all around the room. When she taught Miss Brisbane, on the other hand, was short and short gray hair. She wore dark clothes and flat shoes, and she didn't jangle at all. She spoke in a voice just loud enough to hear, and sat at her desk or stood at the chalkboard when she taught. No wonder I was feeling drowsy after lunch. All that nice food and all that soft talking. Is that all this hamster does? Sleep? She asked. At one point, when she glanced over at my cage, well, he's Colonel. Help replied. Raise your hand, Heidi. Hopper. Raise your hand, Heidi. Raise your hand, Heidi.
Boy, ain't no way I'm playing on that.
Said
Ain't no way,
Brisbane.
boy.
Said Brisbane.
We should try on the computer. We should try on the computer.
What's Colonel? You know.
No way I'm playing on that.
No, Colonel. You sleep so day. Said Heidi. I was wide awake now. Nocturnal. That's sweet. Answers are nocturnal.
Oh yeah,
They mean nocturnal. Miss Brisbane. Almost as she had understood me. She turned and wrote the word on the board. Can anyone else name an animal that's nocturnal?
Oh, yeah.
Owl, said Heidi. Raise your hand, Heidi, said Miss Brisbane. But that's correct. An owl is nocturnal. Anyone else? A voice shouted, my dad. That's so funny. How could a dad be nocturnal?
Huh?
A dad being nocturnal. Miss Brisbane looked around. Who said that? He did. AJ. Or Tugwell pointed at AJ. Both boys sat at the table nearest to my cage. I'll be right back. What about your dad? Miss Brisbane asked, and she squirmed in the seat. Oh, Mom always says my dad is nocturnal. Because he stays up so late watching TV. Stop giggling, Gale. And a few other students snickered. Miss Brisbane didn't crack a smile. Her use of the word was correct, she said. Though technically humans are not nocturnal, any others, eventually the class came up with warnings of nocturnalness. Bats, coyotes, and opossums. And Miss Brisbane said that class would be learning more about animal habits later in the year. If she just looked at me, she could learn a lot. But I noticed that the rest of the day that Miss Brisbane stayed far away from my cage. As if I had a disease or something. She read a mighty fine story to us in the afternoon. Okay, wait, where's what? Though in fact, I couldn't get back to my nap afterward. It was about a scary house, and these scratching noises and the ghosts. Thump, thump, thump. The ghost came down the hall. Oh, I had shivers and quivers. I have to say, Miss Brisbane knows how to read the story. Her voice changed, and her eyes got wide. And I forgot about her gray and dark suit. To squeak the truth, my fur was on the end. The story had a funny ending. Because it turned out the ghost wasn't a ghost at all. It was an owl. At the end of the story, everybody laughed, even Miss Brisbane. I was beginning to think that a life with this new teacher wouldn't be so bad, but I changed my mind
Wait, did you delete?
when the bell
I thought
rang
you deleted T1.
at the end of the day. And all my classmates, when the bell, okay, so I forgot where we were. Raced out of the room, leaving me alone with her. She erased the chalkboard and gathered up her papers. I could tell that we'd be going home soon. Suddenly, I began to worry. What if Miss Brisbane lived in a scary house with spooky noises, thumping ghosts, or even worse, what if Miss Brisbane had a scary pet, like a dog? My mind was racing as fast as I was spinning my wheel. When she finally approached and looked down at me, frowning, "Well, on your own now," she said. With that, she closed her eyes and walked away. But I heard her mutter, "Rodent," under her breath. She left the classroom and closed the door. She left me alone, all alone in room 26.
Wow.
I have never been alone before. I have never ever been alone before.
She's gonna quit it either way.
As
No, that's why I want to try it.
as
She's gonna quit it.
as the room slowly grew darker and quieter, I thought back to the happy times at Miss Mack's apartment. There were always cheery lights and music and telephone talking, and oh dear, during the day I never noticed how the clock on the wall ticked off the seconds by one very loudly. Tick, tick, tick. I was feeling sick. I wonder if there were any owls around room 26 or ghosts. I tried to pass the time by writing in my notebook about Pedorama and the days at Miss Mack's apartment. Wait. Miss Mack's apartment. Writing took off my mind of the jittery nerves. But eventually, my writing paw began to ache, and I had to stop my scratching. If only I could roam free as I had at Miss Mack's apartment. Then I remembered the lock that doesn't lock. It only took a few seconds to jiggle the door open. I skidded across the table. Then, grasping on the top of the table leg tightly, I closed my eyes and slid to the ground between the tables and chairs. I stopped to nibble a peanut underneath Stop Euclid's chair. It tasted delicious and made the coolest crunching sound. I chewed and chomped and gnawed and nibbled. And when I stopped, I heard the sound. Thump, thump. Just like the story. Miss Brisbane had read to us. Thump, thump, thump. Closer and closer down the hall, coming toward room 26. Then rattle, scratch, thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, I lunged for protective comfort of my cage. I dropped what was left of the peanut and scampered back. But when I got to the table, I thought a terrible thought. I had slipped down the smooth, shiny leg straight down. How was I going to climb up again? I flung myself against the table leg, grabbed on, and pushed up. But I only had a little progress. When I began to slide down, I was right back where I started. The rattling got louder. The sounds weren't coming toward room 26 anymore. They were coming in room 26. Then I noticed a long cord running down the blinds. Without hesitation, I leaped up and grabbed the cord and began swinging back and forth. my stomach churned, and I wished I'd never touched that peanut. But with each swing, I got a little higher off the ground. As soon as I saw the end of the table, I closed my eyes and dived toward it. Alright guys, I guess it's going to be the end, and tomorrow I'll continue. Bye. 10 minutes, and make sure also read The World According to Humphrey by Betty G. Burney.